rainbow grass. I don't know. What's your guys' favorite conspiracy theory? Like when you find funny. Oh shit, I need to go feed the other guys. I just realized they're starving. Babe. I think my favorite conspiracy theory is like the UFOs helped build the pyramid or some shit. You guys ate like 40 fucking pomegranates? I forget you guys are omnivorous. I have so many. Well, lay 'em on me, bro. I asked to hear him. You better say. My personal theory is that he killed himself after hearing. Okay. Oh, my personal is that he killed himself after hearing his high command that the Soviets would arrive before the Allies. Didn't want to suffer in Soviet gulags. He should have. Honest to God, he should have. You would think somebody with the balls to do what he did would at least stand to face his actions, but he's a fucking coward. If I ever did anything that evil, I'd be like, yeah, no, I was a piece of shit. Kill me. Do what you want. I mean, that's without... I don't know. Hey, Tree, it's good to see you, man. When I was little, I watched a History Channel that taught me that mermaids are real. Like, which type of mermaids? Like, the ones... Like the... I'm so fucking afraid of the ocean. I'm afraid of the ocean, bro. That shit's spooky. But, with, well, that's nice. Thank you, Tree. The evil ones that destroy submarines. Oh, those big fucking ones. Like the massive ones with like arms and shit. Like long arms. I can't lay you on them, but it's about it's about steel beams. Oh. Oh, that shit's so funny. People like to act like fucking buildings don't become really fucking hot. Like they straight up act like kilns. Well, an effect event. Oof. Hey, King Strider, how's it going, man? Well, the thing is, German POWs in the Soviet Union were treated worse than the Jews in the camps. I think we would have surrendered had the Allies been first there instead of Soviets. I should not be using the chickens. I am fucking stupid. Hey, I'll be back. I'll give you more food. Just got home from John Wick 4. Very good movie. Well, that's good. I have yet to see it. I want to see it, honestly. But I don't got money for the movie theater. Unfortunately. I'm still waiting on my first paycheck for my job. Alright, let's go feed the other dudes. But, oh yeah, about the whole building kiln thing. Buildings can easily, like, let's say you set, like, a normal house on fire. That can easily get well over 5,000 degrees. My favorite conspiracy is how many brain cells remain in my own cone. Hey, man. Everyone's smart when they want to be. I'm gonna go burn these for the fire boys. Oh my Jesus, Harold Christ. Motherfuckers are breeding like rabbits. Here. You guys get some extra hens and shit. You're not escaping. But, not I. Dumbest conspiracy theory I ever heard, that Jerusalem was built by the Muslims and didn't exist before Muhammad. What the fuck? That is a strange one. Time to go store my chickens. There's honest to God, so many okay, I actually really recommend watching Wendigoon's, let me pause the music so you guys can hear me. I really recommend watching Wendigoon's conspiracy theory iceberg. It's a 9-hour video. It's straight up like a fucking 4 movies technically, but it's a good, it's good. He's a good content creator, honestly. Speaking about burning houses, more or so kilns. Got my coil vessel bisque fired after a month since I finished making it. Nice. What'd you put? Like, what kind of glaze did you put on it? Or have you glazed it yet? Dude, if I had a kiln, I'd be making all sorts of stupid shit. Honest to God. I would basically remake this mug, just bigger. Duck mug. Ignore the coffee on the side. I used it today. 22-part series on conspiracy theories. Pretty much. Wendigoon is just a really good content creator, honest to God. He covers a lot of stuff. And he's kind of like a low-key tactical boy, or like low-key boog boy. I mean, he wears a lot of Hawaiian shirts. He's a cool dude. Y'all believe in Wendigos and Native American beasts? I don't see why they wouldn't exist. I mean, I'm not like going for reddish glaze on the main body and to put a bone white on it as well for the rib. So with I don't believe in like not Native American. I don't believe in like possession and shit, honestly. But like Wendigos are like iffy for me. Because a lot of the times you'll hear like screaming in the forest will be like, that will be like, honestly, most of the time it's just a cougar getting boned. It's a cougar getting some game because they sound like people, like spirits and stuff. I believe in those for the most part. Possession is dumb. It's just stupid. Unless it's like, there's generally a pretty good explanation for it. And I think sometimes it's just straight up tard fury. So, I don't think you're possessed. I just think you're retarded. So, get the fuck out of my office. I'm gonna tell a story. It was while I was in middle school, I think I was about 13 at the time. But I woke up in the middle of the night, like I think it was like 2 in the morning, like 2:30 or something like that. I wake up busting for a piss, and so I get up, walk to my upstairs bathroom. My bathroom is like it's a lot higher than my kitchen, and so I like has a direct view into the kitchen. I look down there. There's someone standing in the fucking kitchen, and my dumb ass is like, I don't have a weapon. I'm gonna just take my piss and head back to bed, hoping they don't come to the door. So, lock the door, take my piss, wash my hands, everything. I walk out and I peek around the corner. Like, I peek in, like, my bedroom and shit to make sure that they're not, like, right around the corner. And I look down in the kitchen, and nobody's there. Nobody's there. Not a fucking soul. And I'm like, okay, well, that problem solved itself. I go back into my bedroom, and I lay down. I lay down, fall back to sleep. Around like 2 hours later, I wake back up. There's a fucking figure in my doorway. It's taller than the fucking door. And this wasn't sleep paralysis. Because I fucking waved at him. I'm just like sitting there like... I literally did that to something that's taller than my door, standing there, just like staring at me. And I was just like, well, if I die, I die. I'm gonna go back to bed. I have school in the morning. It unfortunately didn't. Maybe who knows? Maybe it did, and I didn't notice it because it was dark, and it's literally a fucking shadow. I woke up in the middle of the night at my parents' old house with sleep paralysis and what I would describe as a black shadowy man standing over me. Here's story number dos. There was one time me and my buddy were sitting at his house having a sleepover. He's old. Well, yeah. So he's just short. So me and my buddy were having a sleepover. We were playing, like, I think it was Dungeon Defenders late at night. It was like, I think 12 at night, honest to God. It wasn't very late compared to how late we normally stay up. We were only like, I think 10 or 11 at this point, maybe younger. But we're just chilling. He had the basement doors open because I think they either just cleaned the carpet or like sprayed bug spray down there, so they're letting it air out and everything. All the doors are open downstairs besides like one of them. And all of a sudden, we hear a door slam downstairs, and it's only me, him, and his mom in the house. Nobody lives downstairs. We both hear a slam downstairs, and his aunt's cat, whatever, Boo, runs fucking up the stairs like he's being chased. We hear thump, 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 up the stairs like someone's running up them. The door to the basement is completely open. It gets like, it's like you took your door and threw it shut in a panic. The thumping goes up into the kitchen, comes back around and runs upstairs, and then his mom's pill bottle falls over on her nightstand and starts rolling around. Ooh, got some stories. I've also went downstairs to take a leak in the same house and saw something similar to what I saw standing over me, looking at me with white glowing eyes. I went back upstairs and pissed in a bottle. I actually saw the white glowing eyes thing. That was the figure in the doorway. It's like tall man with a hat and white glowing eyes. But he's like wispy. He's like smoky. Oh, by the way, chat. For at some point, maybe around October, I want to do like it's like a media share kind of thing, but I want to do something where it's like scary videos, not like gore, not like gore. Gore horror is just fucking stupid, but like actually unsettling content kind of thing. Start saving scary videos now. And then I might pay somebody to edit them all together, or maybe we can just watch them in media share. And they will be screened beforehand, not by me. They'll be screened by someone else to make sure it's TOS. Suicidemouse.avi. Suicide Mouse is cringy as shit. I'm not gonna lie. It's not even scary. It's like, oh, supposedly there's tortured people in the background of this, but it's like, it's just some dude fucking screaming in a closet. All I can say is my video about Sirius being hunted by Smile Dog. Yeah, I'll take creepypastas. Okay, I'm not doing like Jeff the Killer. Gotta go to the Bates Hotel.
No,
all right.
God! No, God, please, no! No!
Bro,
no!
do a fucking subathon in a haunted hotel. Oh, that'd be so funny.
Do it.
Dude, a fucking... Oh, a subathon in a haunted hotel. Never before seen. It's like the video of me, sleeping in the bed, and you see something just like over the end of the bed or something. Okay, I'm gonna rant about like horror content a little bit. I'm gonna pause my game, and we're gonna go back to big screen mode. Okay. I cannot fucking stand when, like, the whole point of, like, oh, spooky, scary is, like, a big, tall person shaking their limbs. It's like, What is this, fucking amateur hour? What is this, The Exorcist? 3 a.m. challenge gone wrong. Elmo fucks Kermit. The rule of 3. Don't use it. The rule of 3, if you don't know what that is nothing, like, let's say Mandela catalog. That's a, or not Mandela catalog. It's something entertainment. I can't remember. But basically, it's horror. It's like analog horror. It's a guide to surviving a monster. It's like 1, nothing happens. 2, nothing happens. And then number 3 is where the spooky stuff happens. Horror that becomes predictable is the worst shit. Reddit 50/50s? No, I can't. Straight up can't do that. I mean, I guess there is a way where I can just have like this screen where it doesn't show what it is, and then I pan back to it if it's like something cute or something. It would be like cute dog or 9/11. I'm gonna switch some shit up. I'm gonna save and quit out of Slime Rancher, and we're gonna start some scary. We're gonna watch some spooky stuff. Give me just a moment or so to set this up. Because honestly, scary content sounds fun right now. Okay, so let's pause this music. So which one's the first one I need to watch? Because I know there is some kind of like do full documentary. This one? Is it this one right here? The full footage one? I hope. Alright. Strap in, boys. Alright. Video talks about following content like gore, violence, death, and flashing lights. Hold your hats. Should I get my helmet? My helmet is back there. Alright. I'm ready for this. Analog horror is like some of my favorite shit. Federal law provides that severe civil and criminal penalties for the unauthorized viewing of this footage, and reproduction, distribution, or display of this video is prohibited. Well, I'm going to prison. The possession of this footage may lead to investigation and detention. If released from custody, the apprehend will face a penalty of $50,000 or $500,000. Let me make sure this is full volume. Got to get it loud in your ear holes. Keep your arms and legs inside the carriage at all times. Alrighty. Let me turn the opacity.
On planet Earth, life has thrived for millions of years.
Okay. It's not a 3 video.
Big and small have
Oh,
found
look at
ways
him.
to adapt and
Look at that little
evolve to
bitch.
flourish in all types of environments. From barren
Very
wastes
diverse.
to lush forests, life can be found.
Gray parrot and a
Earth has owned
meerkat.
these creatures since the dawn of life itself. Only
Okay.
until very recently, things have changed.
Alright.
New life forms have appeared all around the globe and completely changing the balance of nature and what we know about evolution itself.
Okay.
That is why we, at National Living Meat Research, have been studying these new species.
Anything with the words living meat research is not.
Trying
No.
to help educate everyone about these creatures and their wondrous ways of life.
They're wondrous
First,
ways of life.
what
Okay.
are these new life forms?
Alright, yeah, I'd like
Since
to know.
their explosive arrival across the globe in 1931,
Holy
there
shit.
has been much debate on what these newcomers are and where they came from.
It goes off
Are
the
they
graph.
extra? What these creatures are is mysterious and still
a
not
bug.
well known today. But here's what we
Looks
do
like
know.
like a bug of some
These
kind. Or
creatures
whatever.
are comprised mainly of muscle tissue, organs, and bones.
Okay.
They greatly resemble animals with no skin, or store-bought meat.
Oh.
Because of these characteristics,
Oh, no.
they have been named accordingly as Vita carnis. The carnis species consume decaying, organic matter, but their main diet is composed of raw meat, not including their carnis relatives. The carnis only appear in places where there is an abundance of crawl, which leads to the first creature of the carnis species.
The fuck?
The crawl. The crawl is a growth of meaty tendrils that closely resemble the small intestine, the only difference being the dark red coloration. These tendrils grow in a similar pattern as vines, mold, or fungi.
Oh, that's the
A
worst.
primary stem structure is
Oh,
the host
shit.
of divisions of other, smaller branches. In each tendril contains a variety of veins, arteries, and other similar organs used to transport nutrients absorbed
Who
from
would
its
dissect
surroundings.
that?
The ends of these tendrils are equipped with organelles used to absorb water and organic matter necessary for growth. The
Okay.
source of these organic materials is mainly found in dirt and soil on surrounding surfaces, using a sophisticated form of photosynthesis. The dark pigmentation of the smaller branches is ideal for absorbing sunlight, and therefore allowing solar energy to fuel the crawl's growth. Because of its
Goddamn
efficiency,
mitochondria.
it thrives in almost all types of environments, easily
Besides-
allowing it to spread across.
Hold on. I want to go
Efficiency.
back.
It
I
thrives
want to
in
go
almost
back
all
to that.
types of
Besides that one corner of South America.
environments. Its recent inclusion in the ecosystem has caused many major changes in nature's balance.
Imagine stepping on that
One
and it
may
pops.
assume that the crawl's abundance grants plenty of nourishment to all animals, from plants feeding on the decayed crawl, herbivores thriving on increased plant population, and carnivores feeding on both the abundant prey, and are able to eat the crawl as well. The presence of all these animals leave
I
behind
don't think I'd
waste,
let anything
which will be
eat
broken
those.
down and consumed by the crawl, and the cycle begins again. This form of symbiosis leads to an environment where all populations thrive.
The meat is scared of guana.
Humanity also uses the crawl to our advantage. Because of the
Hold the fucking phone. That was a
Super
lanky motherfucker. Oh my god. Look at that bitch. His hands are almost down to his knees. Holy shit.
also uses the
Oh,
crawl
fuck, it's
to our
big.
advantage.
You shouldn't touch it.
Because of the supernatural rate of growth and its richness in nutrients, it has been sustainably
scared the
cultivated into
fuck out of me.
domestic farms. The crawl is harvested and processed
Oh,
into
96.
fertilizer,
And
which
then-
greatly increases crop yield and quality. The crawl may
There's
also
the
be
issue.
used as a food source for humans, and reliably
No.
so. But due to its unkindly appearance and taste, it has yet to reach cuisine standards. The crawl also plays a very important role in the next creatures
Got a
that we
family
have been
tree.
studying. Sometimes, in a crawl-populated environment, a node of meat may develop on one of the branches.
Node
This
of
node
meat.
will fall off and grow into a functioning organism, and go to live on as an independent animal. This leads us to the upcoming species that we will be discussing.
Oh, okay.
The first of these creatures are the trimmings. The trimmings. Trimmings are small animals that resemble
Oh,
raccoons.
what the
They are
fuck?
commonly known to have a plump body.
Failed to
round
reach cuisine status. I know for a fact the French would love that. Exactly! I wouldn't eat it. Honest to God, no. I honestly... I thought something was just outside my window. How'd that... Okay, well,
head,
I don't need to go into
small eyes,
biology.
Nose and ear holes, and an agape mouth. They are also equipped with a diversity of limbs.
Looks like a bean.
Although its appearance is unsightly, it is a cowardly creature,
Oh.
only fleeing, screeching, and hiding when threatened. Because of its lack of defensive traits, it lies near the bottom of the food chain, making it easily overpowered and picked off very regularly by predators.
Makes sense.
Naturally, its population would eventually die out. This is not the case. Trimmings grow at a decent pace, reaching maturity at around 7 months, having a maximum lifespan of 2 to 4 years.
Oh, it's like a hamster. But
Although
meteor.
they are plentiful.
Just wait. Oh, God. I feel like these would be really satisfying to kick, though. Like, you could punt them, and they won't obviously won't fight back. They're a cowardly creature. I feel like it'd be so funny to just fucking punt it. And just go, ee! And fly away.
The meat snake.
That's what I call my dick.
When it first separates from the crawl,
Ew.
it is only a few centimeters in length.
So I'm telling you to
The
wait.
meat snake locates its food by using a tongue-like organ covered in sensors to touch and feel its environment. The sensors catch particles of decaying meat, notifying the meat snake that there is food nearby.
You'd be able to hunt the shit out of these things so quickly. Oh, I got some old beef in the fridge. Oh, I want to go get more beef or meat. Oh, I'll just take it in the middle of the woods, chuck it there, and wait with a gun.
Humans use meat snakes in butcher shops as a waste bin, dispose rodents.
Ah, okay, that
within
makes
war
sense.
On the battlefield to dispose of festering bodies.
No, you don't disrespect a soldier like that, you fucking dickheads.
They are extremely tame, not caring if any creature is around them, only acting
Yeah,
defensively
that's tame.
when it is within. Our next creature is the Mimic.
What a spits it looks like.
The Mimic. The Mimic is a bipedal creature with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy. They greatly resemble humans without skin, with added exaggerated features. These features include extended finger length, longer limbs, bulging, empty eyes, and their most prominent feature, a wide, teeth-filled smile. Although it resembles a happy face, this is due to coincidence
here
and
we
is
go.
only how their facial structure is shaped. The maw of the Mimic contains much more teeth than humans,
Oh my
and their
God.
teeth is comprised almost entirely of incisors, with some canine and premolars in the back. This tooth composition is ideal for biting down onto meat and swallowing chunks whole. A
No.
mature Mimic's diet is comprised entirely of human flesh. Because of this, they are found solely around human-populated areas. The Mimic's life cycle is made of 3 stages. In the first stage, a young Mimic separates from the crawl. They closely resemble their trimming relatives, but are thin, sleek, and only have 4
Kick it.
appendages.
Kick it in the
In
mouth.
this stage, the young Mimic will hunt small animals, moving
Gut.
on to larger and larger.
Listen, I don't care what you say. If you get a gun big enough to delete that thing from existence all at once, a gun works. It's the laws of guns. Yeah, exactly. RPG. I don't know. Let's just let it play out.
Larger
There's
as
still
they
like
grow. Once large
20
enough,
minutes almost.
it will begin metamorphosis into the next stage of life.
metamorphosis.
Once fully transformed, it will resemble the description mentioned in the beginning. Its
Uh,
hunting style changes and becomes much more complicated. It now stalks and feeds only on humans. It will locate human-populated area and begin its search for an easy target. To blend in, it
gun might not work, but firewall loads napalm into flamethrower.
may use objects to conceal itself.
May use
These
objects?
include clothing, mannequins, and furniture.
Oh, not the mannequins!
Once a target has been found, the Mimic will observe its prey and learn its routine and when it is most vulnerable. This is typically when the human is asleep at night. Once the prey is within position, the Mimic will advance silently until it is close enough. The Mimic will then execute and immediately begin consumption. Once the Mimic has had its fill, it will leave the scene, a fair distance away from the human population, and begin to digest its meal. Although, in the case that a human is awake, a Mimic will use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle.
That window's staying shut, and I am fake firearm. It's fake.
Prey into cornering themselves. Once a human is in place, it will swiftly attack and kill the helpless target.
Oh no! I can hear that it's. Whew, I might have a nervous breakdown. Oh boy. Just give me a second, King Strider. I need a second. It is important. Yes, I understand that. I need a second from that fucking knock. I need a moment. Holy shit. All right. Yeah, it's fake. This gun is, it's the plastic AK that I was talking about. Shut. Stop breathing. Stop breathing. No.
Hello?
Turn the. bitch is dead. This bitch dead as hell. I was in a moving car when I first watched this, and the knock still got me. I swear to God. Turn your flashlight off, you fucking idiot. Oh, you're so stupid. Are you just stomping outside the closet? Shut the fucking flashlight off. That motherfucker's huge!
The next stage of the mimic's life cycle has two potential morphs it may develop into.
This motherfucker grows again?
If a mimic has a consistent supply of food, it will develop more human-like features. It will grow skin, hair, and by the end will look nearly identical to a human being. It now can blend entirely into civilization and lure other humans more effectively. The second type of morph happens when a mimic receives an overabundance of food. It will
Fuck!
grow into a larger, more evolved hunter. Its proportions will increase in length, and its humanoid, more evolved.
Are you fucking serious? Bro! Any reasonable person, as soon as this thing is found out, gun sales are through the fucking roof. Because if you know it can get into a house and it knows your routine, you will be sleeping with a fucking gun. You'll be sleeping with a trench sweeper. 4 gauge will become legal again. Fucking hell, 1 gauge shotgun. It will become legal and it will be standards and government supplied to every home in America. If we knew these motherfuckers existed, we would either like maybe the fucking like vine thing. We would like, oh yeah, we'd use that for meat farming if it supplies us with enough food. Marionette. Oh my God. But like, everyone would have a fucking gun if these things were roaming the earth. Like, you see the fucking like that, you see this thing in the middle of the forest in any location. You are carrying a firearm, a fucking big one at that.
The mimic's life cycle has two potential morphs it may develop into.
Alright.
If a mimic
human,
has
the
a consistent
person.
supply of food, it will develop more human-like features. It will grow skin, hair, and by the end will look nearly identical to
It looks
a
like
human
Candles in
being.
the Forest. You ever seen this analog
It
horror?
now can
Nice.
blend entirely into civilization and lure other humans more effectively. The second type of morph happens when a mimic receives an overabundance of food. It will grow into a larger, more evolved hunter.
God, that fucking
Its
thing.
proportions will increase in length, and its humanoid features will fade away. Dark coating of a flexible skin, which is highly durable, and increases in strength the more the elder mimic consumes. This
What?
excludes the face, which is now coated in a pale pink skin. The mimic's teeth have also moved deeper into the mimic's throat, leaving its mouth a toothless grin.
I love
It
the mix type
uses the
analog
dark
horror
hue
shit.
of its skin to hide seamlessly within a dark environment. Its skills have
Oh,
also been
no.
heightened. This makes an elder mimic one of the most efficient predators on the planet. Because
Just
of the
go to
obvious
Mars.
threat this
Go to a different
poses
fucking
on
planet.
Humanity, nations around the world have released instructions on how to be able to fend
Bullets
for yourself
bounce.
in a mimic
Yeah,
encounter.
I saw that.
Here are the instructions.
Listen, those are probably like regular copper jackets. Armor piercing. Railguns will become a thing. Handheld railguns will become a thing. Vita Carnage type order. Alright.
1. Avoid going out alone if your location is known to have mimics.
No
or there
fucking
have been mimic
shit.
sightings.
Sherlock?
2.
Use the Ultra Kill Railgun?
If
Exactly.
you encounter a stationary mimic, seemingly unfazed by your presence, quietly leave the location and alert your local authorities. 3. If pursued by a mimic, get yourself into a position where you are able to flee. Mimics will rarely attack if a person has a clear escape route. 4. In the event that you have been cornered by a mimic,
Kiss your
roll
ass goodbye.
into the fetal position, protecting your neck, face, and vital organs from attack. Make as much noise as you can to alert any other people. 5. If you have a weapon, do not use it. A mimic is fairly resilient, and any strikes or shots on a mimic is not effective enough to bring it down in time. Instead, use it as a barrier between you.
Alright. Explosive rounds of all else. Something they're forgetting about is fucking stopping power! Shotgun slug! It will drop that spindly ass bitch to the ground! Even if it doesn't go into their skin, it's gonna fucking stagger them at least! If it's made of, if it has, salt might actually be your best weapon. Salt and tasers. Yeah. Well, yeah, they don't have skin. Salt, lemon, anything that stings. Motherfuckers they don't have eyelids. You can just take handfuls upon handfuls of salt and just throw it at it. Motherfucker will be, I mean, even if it doesn't stop him or get him to go away, it's at least gives you distance. You could probably also shove like a really big piece of wood in its mouth so it won't, like, it'll bite down on it and then it just like gets stuck in its mouth. Peanut butter. Give it a jar of peanut butter. Sorry.
6.
Murder.
In a situation where a mimic is hunting in the immediate area and is not aware of your position, hide somewhere low, like under a bed or behind other furniture. A mimic will not linger too long to search for prey and will move
So I have an
on.
alarm set on every door in my house that goes outside.
Be safe and avoid any encounters with a mimic at all costs. Next up is the host.
The host?
The host of influence.
What the fuck was that
The host
flashed?
of influence, more commonly referred to as the host, has its name derived from a host who invites guests to an event. Not to
Okay.
be confused with a host, a harborer of parasites or disease.
Wait,
The host
okay,
is
no,
a
that's actually...
semi-humanoid-looking organism. It has the structure of a
I would
head,
call that a
torso,
humanoid.
and arms. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics.
No shit?
The lower half of the host is comprised of a mass of fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow
Okay.
into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of skin, the host is covered in muscular tissue fibers, tendons, and veins. In some parts of the body are covered in a meaty plate, used to cover any large exposed areas, but allowing movement.
I'm
The
not
host
gonna
head has a-
lie. This, I know there's animals with like natural defenses and shit. It is overestimating the toughness of fucking muscle tissue, though.
Smooth surface where the face should be, attached to a
Oh, where
crooked
it should
neck,
be.
which houses a slit in the front used for feeding. On the host's back is a mound of pores. Protruding from these pores are hollow, hair-like structures, extending outwards. These hairs are barrels that release spores produced within host's body by being fired into the air.
This
These
motherfucker's a
spores are
fungus.
hazardous, so keep clear of them at all costs. Luckily, the host is rare, only found in North America.
Oh, good.
Obtaining info about the host is a very risky and daunting task. This is because of their rarity and of how dangerous it is to be up close to one. The sores released by a host is very dangerous when inhaled.
Most glitches
A
are
host will
carnivore.
release a
Oh,
cloud
really?
of spores into the air, which will be picked up by wind and carried great distances. If an organism inhales the spores, the particles will find their way into the organism's brain and infect them. An infected organism will show no symptoms of infection right away, but a couple hours after infection the infected organism's behavior and thought process will change.
Okay.
The first symptoms that appear are restlessness, sluggish movement, numbness of joints, and lack of coordination. Then more serious symptoms appear over time. These include dizziness, migraines, impaired speech, and trembles. If you or someone you know show these symptoms,
why did it go dark?
contact poison control or emergency services.
Rookie
After
shit.
a total of 6 to 7 hours after infection, The
What do you
organism
mean?
will cease all activities they were previously doing and begin to walk. The direction the infected will walk is towards the host whose spores have been inhaled by the infected individual. If the infected makes their way to the host, they will kneel down in front of it, expose their vital organs, and the host will promptly gut and remove those organs.
Jesus
The host will consume
Christ.
them and discard the leftover scraps.
These things
However,
can move?
Next, the monoliths.
No.
The monoliths. There are only 7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position, 1.5 kilometers in diameter. This ring of monoliths surrounds.
Okay.
The monolith is a Titanic-sized being, measuring roughly 120 meters in height. Each monolith has 2 trunk legs that are
Holy
firmly embedded
shit!
underground. The legs connect to a torso. The creature itself is made of hundreds of thousands of meaty strands, tightly woven together to form the structure.
Oh my
These strands
God.
end at the neck.
Oh, fuck, I hate this. It's like it. Oh, no, don't flash something at me. Oh.
Now restricted to all.
Okay.
Ever since,
yeah, that's a good idea.
the monolith stands silently. Now only a grand spectacle of awe and mystery, only adding more questions to these meat beings. And finally, the last creature on this list is...
The singularity is an orb comprised of a dark-colored mineral with hints of luminous colors within its core. The singularity is estimated to be 1
What the
meter in
fuck?
diameter. The orb has several unique qualities that are not well understood. The singularity typically can be found suspended in air by an unseen force. There are also a variety of readings that have been documented coming from the orb itself. Various things like magnetic fields, energy signatures, and other pattern-like signals released by the singularity. The population of these creatures is unknown. Almost all info about the singularity is hidden or confiscated by officials. We were only able to receive one classified document about the singularity being held by...
Fuck off with that shit.
marvelous and majestic world that exists today, it's as extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
Bro. Runaway is my favorite one. Alright, let's get into this. Oh, it's bad. I didn't expect to get into it this soon. Please don't. Alright, let's rewind that. Alright.
What you doing?
Nothing.
What you doing?
Nothing. Fuck off. I'm masturbating.
What you doing?
I'm masturbating. Go away.
Why are you hiding?
Oh, fuck me. But you just eat, play, party, rock, die. Where fantasy and fun come to life. Ferdy Ferd Ferns. My dude is gay.
Welcome to the Fazbear Entertainment.
Oh, I love this
Maintenance
text-to-speech
Video
voice.
Manual. This
Oh, this text-to-speech voice is my fucking butter and bread, bro. I love it so much.
will cover the instructions on how to clean out your state-of-the-art animatronic characters.
Okay, tell us.
Each
Do tell.
animatronic has the same cleaning procedure.
Oh, nice. Makes it easy.
First, reach behind their neck and press the red button. This will set them into maintenance mode.
Easy. fuck is that? Hi.
Second, press the blue
The animatronics do tend to get a bit quirky at night.
unlock button on the back of the head.
Okay.
Remove the upper jaw carefully, then detach the lower jaw. Third,
Okay.
press down on both shoulders to unlock the shoulder joints. Remove both arms.
This is really easy to disassemble, I'm not gonna lie.
Finally, take the torso piece and lift it upward until it
Okay.
is completely removed. Climb inside the torso and accept your
Bonnie joint movement test. Here, let's, okay, never mind, I guess. Alright, so this is a Bonnie joint movement test. Flash warning. Flash warning for anyone who has epilepsy. I love calling William Afton Willie A. It's so good. Did Willie take a peek? Alright. Wow, Bonnie is struggling, bro. He's like 5 beers in at Chili's. Oh, it's staring at the camera person. Oh, I just noticed that. Oh, God.
Oh, well, hello there. My name is Freddy Fazbear. Welcome
I like his
to
voice.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. You seem like a new recruit.
Yep,
Ah, and it's your turn to test the animatronics movement, isn't it?
I'm ready.
Well, have no fear. Freddy's here to help.
Cool.
Now, let's show you how it's done. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
I can't count, though. Where'd Freddy go? Oh, let's not open that door.
To
He wants
test
a
Bonnie's
kid for data
movements, we
exposure.
have to put him into repair mode and troubleshoot all of his moving parts.
Okay.
Let's start with the head.
All right. This seems easy enough.
Now, let's test the arms.
Seems. I would stand behind a cage if we need to deal with anything mechanical. Oh, that's a bit bouncy. Okay. Chunk.
Now it's time to test the legs.
Tether him down. Motherfucker's gonna run at me. That is a well-balanced robot. Holy shit.
Now we test the
Willie A knows what he's doing. I guess. God damn. Test the ears? What? Did they move? The eyes. Oh, my favorite! Oh, this is terrible. Alright, sound response check. Ooh, there's captions for this one.
Chica?
What the fuck?
It's time to go home, baby bird. Mommy? It's time to go home. Home. Take me home with you. No, Chica. Baby bird. No, Chica. You're scaring me.
Oh, thanks. I couldn't guess that. Thanks.
The newer ones can handle much higher frequencies, perfect for performing animatronics such as these. You wouldn't want one of them shutting down just because the music was too loud.
I
Can't imagine
don't
what
think
could've been
it
so
should have
loud
ears.
it brought the sensors.
Sound response test. Please make sure that the left and right speakers are properly placed. If you are unsure, refer to the booklet. Seems easy enough. How much are they paying for this to be worth it? It's got to be like $85 an hour, I swear to God. Audio will play in 3 seconds. Okay. Time to deforest. Okay, ascending and descending tones. If she has responded correctly, she should be looking to the left. Okay. I'm imagining some poor motherfucker, like having this creepy bastard in the room, turning to a tiny CRT tube TV with the VHS tape that's like worn to shit. And he's like, okay. And he's got the manual in front of him. He's like, okay, okay, it's turned. All right, what next? Like that kind of deal. If Chica has not responded correctly, die. Please ensure there are no children present. Animatronics will react to the sound of children. That's an issue in and of itself. Audio will play in 3 seconds. Chica responded should be looking to the left. Okay, I thought we already did this. Chica's not looking either direction. Or maybe it's like head turn this way, head turn this way, head turn this way. Alright. Chica has responded correctly. She should be looking to the right. Well, Willie made the animatronics to respond to children so that he can take them. Fucking neck's broken in this bitch. He needs... Oh, that is so weird. He needs the remnant. Chica has responded correctly. She is. Don't look at me like that, you fucking ugly bird. Audio play in 3 seconds. What the fuck? Child. Small person. I hate the Carl model. The music makes me feel better. Or this music makes me feel better. It makes me think about birds. I like birds. They're pretty. Yeah, birds are pretty. One time I saw birds sleeping in the snow. That's what bad dreams are about. Okay. I feel like I'm sleeping in the snow and I can't get up. It's too cold for me to do that. Okay. Things don't breathe when they sleep in the snow. I can't breathe. What the fuck? I don't know if the cupcake or Chica's face is worse. Honestly, what the hell? Did the face just move? How about we don't? God, these all are... Alright, just making sure. These models are all so fucking ugly.
It be your favorite swashbuckling buccaneer!
Can I go back to Slime Rancher? I don't think I'm emotionally ready for this right now. I mean... you guys voted on it, and I'm having fun. Just endure it. Be a strong man. Be a strong boy for me. I wish I didn't say that, but my point still stands. You got me fucked if you think I'm staying at my desk for this. Well, where do you keep disappearing to? You sound like a dad. Well, I get called a dad a lot. So.
Foxy, the pie.
I thought he said Foxy. Like F. Okay. You need some flavor enhancer for your Korean barbecue. That's called fucking salt.
Red Fox.
Oh. Fuck me.
When I tell ya, we got a grand show for you today. In just about
My desk is
10 minutes. Wait, 10 minutes? That's right, 10 minutes! Can you bloody believe it?
10 minutes? Why, we better gather our gear before time runs out.
Oh, and I've got to
That
prep my
fucking son.
singing voice. La 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 la.
Bonnie, make yourself useful and mop the stage, will you?
Whatever you say, Mr. Bossman.
Just try not to slip, Cottontail.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Hey! Will you landlubbers stop mucking around? Anyway, you scallywags, just be here in time for the show.
Alright, we'll
Not a
do.
moment before, and not a moment later, you hear? Or else you'll be forced to walk the plank.
Blank? Okay. Oh, 5 children with very warped faces. Hooray! FNAF predicted the Sisyphus theme before P2 dropped. Hooray!
Ahoy, me mateys! It be
I thought the video restarted.
your favorite swashbuckling buccaneer, Foxy, the Pirate Fox. Arg. When I tell ya, we got a grand show for you today in just about 10 minutes. Wait, 10 minutes? That's right, 10 minutes. Can
Okay.
you bloody believe it?
You need to pay me
10
money to
minutes?
go to a show
Why,
like
we
this.
better
Seriously.
gather our gear before time runs out.
Oh, and I've got to prep my singing voice. La 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 la.
Bonnie, make yourself
okay.
useful and mop the stage, will you?
Whatever you say.
Hi! The fucking car noise. Oh my god, Freddy just pogged. Oh, one kid is missing.
10.
La 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 la.
How many times is this gonna
Bonnie,
fucking
make
play?
yourself useful and mop the stage, will you?
Oh, good god.
Just try not to slip, Cottontail.
Well, that answers my question. Holy shit.
Hey, will you landlubbers stop mucking around? Anyway, you scallywags, just be here in time for the show.
Oh, fuck, bro.
Not a moment before, and not a moment later, you hear? Or else you'll be forced to walk the plank.
Foxy the Fugger. Two kids gone. Woo! They've gone missing. So we gotta.
Ahoy, me mateys! It be your favorite swashbuckling buccaneer, Foxy, the Pirate Fox. Arg. When I tell ya, we got a grand show for you today in just
Oh, they're
about
auto-generated.
10
Oh, no, they're not.
minutes. Wait, 10 minutes? That's right, 10 minutes. Can you
All
bloody
right.
believe it?
Jesus.
Oh, and I've got to prep my singing voice. La,
Ceiling
la,
voice.
la, la.
Oh my god, this is awful. Wow, this is terrible. Why is there higher scream back? Is there? Okay, we're gonna get it to a different frame. Hold on. Okay, that's okay. That was really lingering. Oh my god. Oh, there is. I don't know. It just selects it automatically or something, or it was preset. Okay. This is very strange. Bro, 22 kilobytes.
Swashbuckling buccaneer, Foxy,
Oh,
the
that.
Pirate Fox. Arg. When I tell ya,
God, that audio.
show for you today in just about 10 minutes. Wait, 10 minutes? That's right, 10 minutes! Can you bloody believe it?
Alright, there's Freddy. Chica. The fucking cupcake. This is... The 4 kids that are missing are just at the bathroom. Yeah, let's go to the bathroom. Don't mind the bleeding animatronics. Carl is unfazed.
Viewing of this tape is prohibited. Discard it immediately. Viewing of this tape is prohibited. Discard it immediately. Viewing of this tape is prohibited. Discard it immediately.
Oh shit. Oh shit, guys. All the kids are going. Why are you here?
What's the matter, Foxy? I thought you wanted an audience.
Ah, that's terrible. It's Willie A. It's Bwig Willie. Bwig Willie. Fucks. Alright. What the fuck? Cassidy,
Welcome
I
to
don't know.
Jurassic Park Employee Training Video 1. You are now part of the most exciting
I
construction
don't
crew
ask
on the
me.
planet.
I don't know why it's Jurassic Park now.
Before you can get out into the field, there are a few safety reminders we must review. Rule
Okay.
number 1, always wear your company-issued PPE. Safety is our number 1 goal, and you must always approach any job site fully prepared for mishaps and accidents. Our security fences...
What the fuck was that? I fucking hope that's not what I thought it was. Victim. I forgot how fucked that buzzing is. Why? Let's not. No, we're not watching that. Can we watch that one, please? No. Air detected facial recognition. Oh, this is okay, I've seen this one. I believe it should be safe.
Welcome to your new job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This video will elaborate on your duties as a nighttime security guard and will get you up to speed on the tools you will be using.
Okay.
Section 1.
CCTV system.
On your work desk should be a large tablet. Instead of using a desktop computer to access CCTV cameras, you'll be using this touchscreen tablet.
Nice.
Pressing the button on the side will boot it up and introduce you to a possibly unfamiliar interface.
The old
There should be a
FNAF.
map of the restaurant on the bottom right corner. Pressing the buttons on the map will change the...
Cool. What will they change? Thank you. Thank you for telling me.
Section 2. Door controls. You might have noticed the 2 large doors to your side.
I love
and
that,
also
Freddy.
your lack of provided flashlight. But why is that? You will need to use a flashlight with these specially engineered door controls. Pressing the white button will activate the light set outside the door, illuminating a...
Was that fucking Springtrap? Freddy Fazbear. Freddy.
Possible dangers.
Freddy is scared. Scrad.
During the night, we allow our animatronics to roam the
Bro.
building to keep them from locking up and keeping repair costs low. However, this does...
The
pose
thing
a-
is, that would do the exact fucking opposite. Because you could just grease bearings and shit. And pneumatics and whatever the fuck they use. Willie A,
rather
is
than
that you?
animatronic entering your office and possibly damaging valuable equipment. Use the security
This is
doors
valuable
to keep them
equipment.
out of your office.
I keep laughing at the Willie. Is that you? I am here. Is it All Might? Never fear. I am the hidden in the room in the bathroom hallway. The boards break if The board's breaking in there. I'm in there. Michael, your father. I'm your father. I want to talk to you and only
I want to see my boy.
It's Willie A. Alright, paranormal report. Bubbles. Let's watch the Vita Carnis analog horror analysis. So we can actually like get the whole scope of what it is. Alright.
Over the past few years, YouTube has given rise to a new genre of horror, resulting in many creative masterpieces such as The Mandela Catalog, The Backrooms, Gemini Home Entertainment.
That's the one I was
more
talking about earlier, the Gemini Home Entertainment.
that
That
I'm
was like
sure
the
you're
beginning of the
familiar
stream.
with.
I will not rejoin the spooky video stream if I can't sleep. Come on. Come on. Okay, fair enough. I can't blame you there.
These series all fall under the umbrella of analog horror. For the few who are unaware, analog horror basically just means horror that is presented through an analog medium, such as through old TV broadcasts, PSAs, presentations, or found footage. The wonderful thing about analog horror is that it allows the creator to craft an intriguing story with maximum creativity and full independence through a medium that almost everyone uses to some extent, YouTube. Recently, though, a new series has appeared that hardly anyone seems to be talking about. It
Bubbles, I swear to God.
truly
Monologue
seems
horror.
to me that, aside from a few reactions from large content creators, this series has simply fallen under the radar despite hefty view counts on its two most popular entries. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Vita Carnis by Darian Quilloy. Darian has managed to hit the ground running with an intriguing premise and an engaging mystery hiding in the shadows of each entry. And today I want to bring you through each entry individually and then analyze everything and try to come up with a clear picture as to what is really going on. And before we begin, I'd like to direct all of you to Darian's channel and Ko-fi, which will be at the top of the description.
Already did.
Please, please, please make sure to support the original creator. With all that out of the way, let's take a deep dive into Vita Carnis.
Cool beans. Let's go.
The first 7 videos in Vita Carnis are a part of a documentary from the National Living Meat Research Organization. The documentary consists of 8 parts, and the only way to view the final part is to watch the entire compiled documentary, so we'll be ignoring the first 7 videos and just starting there.
Aight.
The documentary opens with the description of the beauty of nature and evolution. However, it seems that in 1931, a new type of organism began to rapidly populate the planet, seemingly out of nowhere.
Caretaker in the
Though
background.
many speculated they may be of demonic or extraterrestrial origin, the documentary claims that the scientists behind the research have determined it is actually of Earth origin, but they still don't really know how that's possible. It then goes on to describe the creatures as being mostly composed of muscle, organs, and bone, appearing very similarly to mammals lacking skin or like store-bought meat.
Yep.
Their diet mainly consists of eating the flesh of other mammals, though any organic matter seems to be viable for some of them. Despite that, an important detail is stressed in that they do not seem to consume any of their own species. Due to the aforementioned characteristics, the species has been aptly named Vita Carnis, which is Latin for the life of the flesh.
Or living flesh. Nice.
The first of 8 known subspecies of Vita Carnis is the crawl. Crawl is a plant-like organism that grows similarly to vines or fungi
I still
with a
can't.
dark red appearance.
I still can't like imagine anyone looking at that and cooking it. It's so disgusting.
The ends of its tendrils gather organic material and nutrients from the surrounding area. It also has a rudimentary form of photosynthesis that it can use to supplement itself if need be. Because of how efficient its natural processes are, it can thrive in almost any environment on the planet. And because the dead branches fall off and decay into nutrient-rich soil, it actually highly benefits the ecosystem around it. It's even cultivated by humans as a sort of super fertilizer. Occasionally, a small node or bud will grow on a branch of crawl, and eventually break off and grow into its own independent organism, and this is where the next species comes into play. The trimmings begin by growing off of the crawl. They then proceed to seek out anything organic they can find to eat. Eventually, they'll grow into small
caretaker in the
skinless
background?
mammals
Is that the
approximately
music?
the size and stature of a raccoon. Interestingly enough, every individual trimming is unique in some way. They may have a varied amount of limbs or other unique aesthetic features. The only characteristics that all of them share is generally being about 8 inches in length or about the size of a basketball. They are also almost entirely
Kick it,
comprised
punt
of
it.
muscle and meat tissue.
Dementia music.
They reach maturity at 7 months and have a maximum lifespan of 2 to 4 years. Its personality is very docile. In fact, to most, they're more of a nuisance than anything else, which is kind of funny. They screech when feeling threatened and kind of just do it for no reason as well. And scavenging through people's trash to look for food is a regular occurrence for them. Due to their timid nature and lack of defensive capability, they're near the bottom of the food chain, and because of this, they highly benefit any ecosystem with predators. Despite this, their population is never in danger, as they can be found in abundance wherever crawl can be found, which is, like I said, pretty much everywhere. Despite humans struggling to find a proper method of incorporating them into society due to them pretty much just being an annoyance, some people found that keeping them as pets was actually a pleasant idea, which, I mean...
Ew.
The next species on our list is
Gross.
the meat snake. The meat snake also branches off from the crawl at a young age, and it consists of various types of meat coated in a transparent skin-like membrane. Once mature, it averages about 16 feet, but also can grow far larger depending on its diet. It is known to have lived up to 40 years. Because of its lack of appendages and slow movement, it is pretty much entirely incapable of feeding on a live animal, and as a result, it's a scavenger. This is further accentuated by its tongue-like organ that is coated in sensors that it uses to sense particles from decaying meat, kind of like a real snake. It is not hostile,
I didn't know
only
real
defending
snakes
itself
do
when
that.
threatened or while feeding. The food that it eats gets broken down in the stomach for nutrients and sustenance, and the rest of it moves down the digestive system to the end of the snake and becomes incorporated in its own structure, which is how it mainly increases its length. It also has a very unique property of
Bro
borrowing
plays,
and using the
snake in
skull
real
of its
life.
prey as its own.
Snake
During
it-
its
well,
life, it
you
will
know what I mean.
swap and replace its skulls as needed. The meat snake has no natural predators and can only be killed through starvation, burning, or destruction of its skin membrane. Surprisingly, the meat snake is also the only of the Carnis species with the ability to reproduce, independent of the crawl. If it determines its size to be excessive and other conditions are met, it will split into 2 smaller meat snakes through mitosis, and they will then go their separate ways.
Guess.
Meat snakes can only be found in moderate temperatures. As such, they are not nearly as common as the aforementioned crawl and trimmings. Humanity has actually found a good use for them, as they can be used to get rid of large amounts of unwanted carcasses or bodies and prevent the spread of disease in the process, as the enzymes in their stomachs will sterilize anything that they excrete.
That is really strange.
The next species of the Carnis is the mimic.
Ah.
It's the most human-looking of any of the Carnis, though it has generally exaggerated proportions comparatively, such as its height, limbs, and appendage length.
And the bulging
obvious lack
eyes.
of
Can't forget
skin,
those.
And their bulging eyes.
Oh, well.
Their teeth are almost entirely composed of incisors, which are the ones used mostly for cutting. Along with their gaping jaw, it's perfect for swallowing large chunks of flesh, and their diet consists almost solely of humans.
God.
Because of this, they're only found around areas with human populations, otherwise they would just starve. Its life cycle begins as a crawl offshoot, very similarly to the trimming, and as they grow, they progress from smaller to larger and larger animals, eventually preferring to hunt humans. The mimic is actually very, very intelligent. They hunt for easy targets and will actually stalk you to learn your routine, and attack you when you are most vulnerable. It is even known to use objects such as clothes, furniture, or mannequins to hide or conceal itself. Because people are generally most vulnerable at night while they're sleeping, this is when they prefer to strike. Once you are asleep, they will silently approach you, and then attack and kill you near instantly, and begin to feed. If
At
you
least
aren't
it's
asleep,
instantly.
then it will instead use a repertoire of sounds to startle and coerce its target into a corner, and it will then swiftly attack and attempt to do the same thing as before. After eating its fill, it will swiftly vacate populated areas into a place where it won't be interrupted, and begin to digest its meal.
I love how somebody saw that in the forest. It's a known hazard. They saw that standing in the forest, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of this bitch. Like,
consistent.
I mean, to be fair, you could just... I just heard something outside of my door. Fuck. Okay. Everything should be fine. But it's like, I guess, like, you could just... Oh, fuck off. Alright, well, thanks, Bubbles, for that shock, you fucking dick. God damn it. I guess, like, as I was saying, you could just come across it in the forest and be like, oh shit.
Begin to exhibit characteristics of humans, growing skin and hair.
Gross.
Eventually, it will look almost identical to a human, making it possible for it to simply blend in with human civilization. However, if a mimic has an overabundance of humans to feed on, it will instead evolve into an elder mimic. Its proportions become even more exaggerated, and it becomes an even more efficient and fierce hunter. Its skin becomes dark, teeth recede from its mouth to its throat, and it grows a strange, mask-like pale skin layer over its face. Since mimics are obviously a natural predator to humans, world governments have released instructions to the public on how to combat them. Rule number 1. Don't travel alone, especially in areas known to have mimic sightings. Rule number 2. If you encounter a stationary mimic that seems undisturbed by your presence, quietly and swiftly leave the location and alert authorities. It is likely digesting a meal. Rule number 3.
Yep.
If a mimic pursues you, at all costs, do not get yourself into a position where the possibility of being cornered even exists. Mimics do not like to chase prey that they do not think they can trap. Rule number 4. If a conflict with a mimic is inevitable, roll into a ball, protecting your vital points, and make as much noise as possible to alert the surrounding area. Rule number 5.
I feel like that's more just so it's a swift
weapon,
death.
Do not use it. Mimics are incredibly resilient and are likely to be unfazed by general attacks. Gunshots or blunt weapons will not work. Instead, use it as a barrier between you and the mimic. Rule number 6. If a mimic is present but has not seen you, hide behind or under natural cover or furniture in a low position. Mimics rarely stay long to search for prey and will not pursue if they are unaware of you. Occasionally, a crawl bud will not actually break off, but rather grow continuously until transforming into a harvester. The harvester will then produce its own tendrils independent of the crawl.
God.
Harvester bulbs are about 10 feet tall and 7 feet wide, but their two groups of tendrils extend underground for up to nearly 500 feet. The first type of tendril is a barbed one that contains 2 potent venoms with no known cure. One side of the barbs excretes an anticoagulant and the other a powerful neurotoxin. The second type of tendril is similar in composition to crawl branches, and it's used to drag prey caught on the first tendrils underground for decomposition and consumption. After feeding on a corpse under the surface, the ground surrounding it becomes nutrient-rich, promoting plant growth and attracting small animals.
Because of the calcium.
The harvester has
Plants
a strange
love
tendency
calcium.
to not actually attack these smaller animals at all. However, there are 3 possible reasons. It may determine the energy expenditure is simply not worth the effort, or it purposefully leaves them to attract larger animals which it will then feed on, or maybe even a combination of both. Harvesters are relatively rare, primarily being found in wooded forests in the northern hemisphere. Because of this, you are unlikely to encounter one if you're not hiking, and warning signs should be present. Regardless, they are very dangerous for obvious reasons. If you believe you have accidentally stumbled into the territory of a harvester, you are encouraged to throw away any heavy items you may have on you to distract it and slowly shuffle away from the area, making no sudden movements and making absolutely sure to not panic, no matter what. Once you are absolutely sure you're out of the range, you may now escape safely and alert authorities of its position.
It's a big fucking fleshy
The final
egg.
conventional species is the host of influence, or just the host. The hosts are incredibly rare, found solely in North America, and only 2 pictures of them alive exist. They are
What about dead ones?
vaguely humanoid, with its head, arm-like appendages, and torso, but everything from the navel down are plant-like tendrils that allow it to burrow into the ground. It doesn't have skin and mostly consists of muscle. It has some armor-like meat plates to cover areas of exposure, and its mouth slit sits near the neck muscles. Its back has many hair-like structures that act as nozzles to emit spores. The spores are incredibly hazardous and can be carried large distances by the wind.
What about
If
like a
inhaled
hazmat
by
suit?
a person, they will begin to succumb to ever-worsening symptoms after a few hours, until
about, like-
eventually becoming entranced. Perhaps entranced is too weak of a word to describe it. It's more like straight-up mind control.
Pretty much.
The infected person will then attempt to make their way to the host who affected them, and if they succeed, will offer themselves up as a meal to the host. If the infected person does not reach the host within 36 hours of infection, then the symptoms will slowly begin to fade and the person will return to normal. If a host determines that its location is not sufficient for acquiring meals, it will uproot itself and relocate to another spot that it deems fit. The last 2 species of Carnus are the strangest. The first of these 2 is the monoliths. The monoliths are strange for many reasons. For one, they only appeared for the first time in June of 1972, and there's only 7 of them. On top of
Yeah,
that, they arranged
they are
themselves
only in
a
that,
circle
like,
about a
on that
mile
tiny fake
in
island.
diameter and in a specific location. They're also nearly 400 feet tall and do not move or do much of anything unless provoked. They are located in a redacted part of the world. At some point, a team had attempted to approach the monoliths, and they were wiped out nearly instantly. Upon the government learning of this, the military attempted to attack them, which revealed that they were capable of EMP blasts that would wipe out entire fleets of modern military effortlessly. Following this, they simply fenced the area off, and nobody is allowed to go in there anymore.
That's fun.
The final member of the Carnus species is the Singularity. The Singularity does not share any known qualities with the other Carnus members, and little about it is understood. It appears as a glistening orb about 3 feet in diameter and suspends itself in the air using an unknown force. It is known to emit
Hovercraft.
magnetic pulses and unknown energy signals at regular frequencies for reasons unknown. The population is also unknown.
Can't wait to edit
It is
this into a
implied
YouTube video.
that much more is known about the Singularity than is let on, but information is highly restricted outside of a redacted organization. It may be the government or someone else. We do not know.
This music's pretty good.
The documentary was a fantastic way to introduce the audience to the universe. The rules have been established, the pieces are all in play, and now Darien can explore the established concepts in more general types of analog methods. For example, the next entry in the series is Cook at Home Kitchen, Cheese Crawl Penne, Cook Along.
Gross. God, I don't want to watch the fucking
Based
penne
on the
again.
beginning of the video, we can assume that this takes place from the perspective of someone flipping through channels.
It seems
While
like
the
it.
ingredients are being listed, a flavor enhancer from Nutrire Company is referenced, supposedly the most crucial ingredient. Most of the rest of the video is normal, though we do get to see what Kroll actually looks like for a brief moment, and it's kind of gross. At the end, the music becomes off-key and unsettling, and the voice says to make sure that the flavor enhancer is only applied when the dish has cooled to below 140 degrees Fahrenheit. When the program is done, the viewer turns off the television. A static noise slowly crescendos as a difficult-to-make-out image appears in the darkness until the video suddenly ends. What is that red triangle symbol? And why is this person trying to figure out what they are?
Get your guess.
The next entry is Guide to Owning a Pet Trimming.
What it is
This
in
the
chat
same as
besides
the
you,
previous
Kingstrider.
entry, being a
Since you know.
televised program that is being watched by someone. The video begins by introducing other common pets known for having human companionship, and then introduces the trimming. It then transitions into the steps required to take care of a trimming pet. I have to say, the trimming prop that Darian made for the purpose of this video is fucking phenomenal, and kudos
God damn
to
it,
him
I was
for
gonna
that.
say
Like, this
exactly
thing actually
that.
looks awesome. Emphasized as being the most important, the temperature of your house is what the guide starts with. Though they are resilient in various temperatures, they are most comfortable at a nice, cool room temperature of about 64 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. However, it is said that they actually prefer warmer environments to nest or sleep. The easiest setup is a box with enough blankets for them to cover themselves. For food, dry cat or dog food twice a day is perfectly fine for a healthy trimming, but you can feed them any food scraps as a treat, as they will eat basically anything if
Trimming
provided.
can have food scraps as a treat.
Next, the guide says that it is very important to remember that they are nocturnal and make a bunch of noise, and yeah, they definitely do.
I'd still want to punt.
As a
I'd still want to
solution, it
punt one and
proposes
see how
to feed
far
the
I can get it.
trimming in the early morning,
and what
so
sound
it's
it makes.
active during these times instead. You should also make sure a trimming has plenty of space and access to a backyard. If not, regular walks are encouraged. This is especially so because trimmings are social creatures, and walks will allow them to meet other trimmings. Though they are relatively inactive, they also enjoy simple toys that they can push around, carry, or pull. Another social aspect that they especially enjoy is listening to the TV or the radio. When they get dirty, you just have to give them a simple bath. Make sure to avoid getting soap in their eyes, nose, or mouth. Finally, the guide says to make sure you give them lots of love and care. They love being cuddled, pat on the head, and talking to them also makes them happy. Their lifespan in this guide is said to be about 8 to 12 years, dramatically increased from the 2 to 4 from the documentary. After it ends, the TV is turned off, and we hear sounds of writing for some reason.
That's a good sound, honestly. That
The
sound
next
on pen
entry
and paper
is
great.
Meat Snake Specimen Archived Footage.
Alright, I didn't watch
It
this one,
begins
so.
with a black screen and the sounds of someone fumbling with a VHS tape.
God, it's so high quality.
Until the tape is inserted, and it starts with this warning message. Warning, the unauthorized reproduction, distribution, or viewing of the following footage is strictly prohibited. Infringement of these instructions leads to severe penalties enforced by federal law. Discard this tape immediately. So clearly, whoever's watching this should not own these tapes, but they do anyways. The tape describes a situation that occurred at the end of World War II in 1945. While
Holy
exploring
shit.
an underground tunnel, a cleanup team discovered a supermassive meat snake, so large that it acted as an impenetrable wall. It was at least 100 feet long, or about 30.4 meters. Its mouth had cow skulls arranged in a circular fashion, and its skin was ridiculously durable, holding its own against extreme cold or heat and radiation exposure. It also had an unusual dark red coloration. When the other side of the meat snake was found by a separate team, they made a discovery on how it got so large in the first place. It then cuts quickly to a shot of a pile of bones, and then cuts out before details can be described. It is also said
Oh my God.
that it has a strangely pleasant smell emanating from its skin, contrasting the usual sour smell of rotting flesh from normal specimens.
Gross.
It describes how at a later date the meat snake had somehow entirely disappeared. It then flashes a quick image of a man whose face is censored and the video ends. Considering the properties that we know of meat snakes, if they are in the right conditions and determine they are too large that they can split off from each other, I think that that's probably what happened.
Where would the other one
go? The next and longest entry in the series is Mimic Defense Instructional Tape. It begins with narration describing an increase in missing persons as of October 23rd, 1986. This is due to an increase in the mimic population. This specific tape is publicly released by the Canadian government in an effort to educate the public on how to avoid being killed.
Okay.
It begins by talking about mimic behaviors that we're already aware of. However, we're provided with new haunting images to show how good they actually are in hiding in furniture.
Oh, that's a big no-no.
We also learned that the reason why they can do this, despite being so large,
Don't own a box
is
spring,
that
kids.
they are actually able to contort their body at will, making themselves smaller to fit in tight spaces and larger to appear threatening when appropriate. We also learn in more detail why and how they put on clothes to disguise themselves. Their bright red skin and bulging eyes are dead giveaways for their identity, so they use this to hide in densely populated areas. We also get clarification on the evolved human mimics.
Fuck.
They still maintain the features such as their smile, bulging eyes, and disproportionately large appendages, no matter what. So it is never impossible to identify them.
Oh, that's good at least.
On top of that, since mimic legs are long and hunched, their walking pattern is also identifiable as irregular. The tape then transitions to another section on how to actually defend
Makes
yourself
you trust
against
crackheads
them.
even less.
If a mimic is before you, it is best to appear large, maintain eye contact, and make noise. If you have a weapon such as a gun, you should aim for the legs and head to immobilize them. This video reiterates that if you find a mimic who hasn't noticed you, you should try to get away without making yourself known and call the authorities. If it does notice you, you're instructed to simply run and hide. Do not leave your hiding spot until authorities have arrived.
That sounds dumb.
After this, the instructional tape ends, and another tape begins.
I mean, at least you can immobilize it. Won't kill it, but like I said, stopping power. That is one good thing.
Evidence tape. Christopher and Janice case, 1983. Observe footage for confidential information completed. Discard and destroy all copies of this tape immediately. It starts with Christopher figuring out how to use his camcorder.
Got it. Yep, it's working.
Ooh, I don't like this.
He seems to be recording a nighttime stroll along with another person, Janice. Since it's so dark, he turns on a flashlight and turns the camera to Janice, and we see that the faces in the footage are censored in post. Most of the footage consists of them just engaging in casual conversation and taking a nighttime stroll.
Got some light now. But look at that over there. You can't see anything unless I point directly over there.
At about 7 minutes, the recording resets, and he says that the camera still turns off and on randomly sometimes.
Turning on and off, but it's the only thing that they would give me. It works, so I just gotta watch.
This is gnarly.
It's not my fault this guy lives in a fucking dump. We're almost there, we just gotta get through the woods.
From now on, the recording will now occasionally cut off randomly for small periods of time and jump to a further spot.
Okay.
After finding an old buried car and some more uneventful walking through the woods, he passes the camera to Janice and she starts filming him. He then describes what happened. In the year 1980, a teenage boy was coming home from a trailer late at night. Although when he arrived at home, he found a grisly scene. Here a name is said, and I can't quite figure out what the first name is supposed to be, but it's not as important as the last name, which is Barar, his father.
Okay.
The grisly scene lied before him, and the police were called. They came to investigate. The strange thing, though, the police immediately closed off everything. No one was allowed near, and only a few witnesses were actually able to catch a glimpse of what had really happened. For some reason, the police were acting very strange and trying to keep everyone away and giving away as little information as possible. When the information finally was released to the public, they framed it as a suicide. The police have yet to clarify anything related to the case since.
Okay.
From there, they go for a few more takes and then decide they're done and continue walking.
Gonna see a mimic or something.
Chris jokes that while they were filming the narration was the perfect time for them to get jumped by a serial killer.
Like, back there was the perfect time for a serial killer to just...
No.
Cut it out. It's scary enough as is.
Janice tells him to cut it out and continues talking to him for a little while until she realizes Chris has stopped responding. Chris is gone.
Chris!
Oh, shit.
This isn't funny! Chris! I just want to go home, come on! Fine, I guess I'm going home without you. I'm cold, tired, and hungry. If you want to stay out here and play games, you can.
She assumes that he's just playing a game because of what he just said, but then, over a minute of silence.
Fuck, I can't. Oh, this.
Just the sound of her footsteps and the forest.
And her breathing.
Until then.
Funny. Oh! God!
I don't like that. I do not like that at all. Oh, shit! Oh, that one video makes so much more sense now. Oh, shit! I guess not.
The second to last
I thought that
episode
video was tied
as
to
of
the
this
other one.
video is Species Anomaly Report. This one does not begin with the TV, but rather a personal computer. Carnus Species
What happened?
Log
I fell asleep.
number
Somebody got
014.
fucked up by a mimic.
Abnormality Documentation Harvester. Notable population density shift discovered between the dates of August 1st, 1989 and October 1st, 1989. Maps display the charted population of Harvester's location on a monthly basis. It then cuts to the August 1st map until glitching, going black, and playing noises from nature.
Did we hear that?
A
Did we
distorted
hear
black
that when
and
we
white
listened to
photo
it?
of a family fades into frame, and some other blurred forest pictures and sounds are shown.
Never mind,
Then,
we did. Woo, the creepers! Ugh, God, I don't want to... Okay. Can we get through the child crying? There we go. The kid be bleeding. Well, hypothetically. We already watched it once. Come on, just play it. Alright. I don't know what it is about the human face, but just like showing eyes and teeth is just fucked. I guess that's like part of analog horror. Is it's just like you're basically dehumanizing a person and then making them the threat.
God, some incredibly disturbing bits of audio and imagery. This is probably the worst episode. I hate it. Sirens echo in the distance. It seems a mother and her child have fallen victim to a harvester while hiking. The final entry is Flavor Enhancer Commercial. This video showcases multiple different commercials from Nutri Co. advertising the new enhanced recipe, the Flavor Enhancer Deluxe.
I'm still so confused on
In the first commercial,
what it is.
a sales graph is shown. Even just in the months following the original product's release, the sales have skyrocketed tremendously. As the commercials progress, the meals that are being showcased become simpler and simpler and simpler.
Mac and cheese.
Until eventually...
I have those glass
just a
bowls and they're
slice of
fucking
toast.
great.
Then, it slowly devolves from a commercial with subliminal messaging into a downright brainwashing session.
More. It is crucial to everyday eating.
Eat, consume. Consume the paste. Consume the powder. Oh. You must. You must, chat. Keep that in mind. You must. Okay. God. Can't stand high-pitched noises like that, dude. I already have tinnitus. Very minor
With that,
tinnitus,
we've
but
covered
still.
every episode so far of Vita Carnis. Now that we've gone through every episode, I want to talk about all the details that most people likely missed. And then I'll try to put together a timeline of events once I'm done.
Yeah, this is what
Let's
we
start
wanted.
with the basics.
Yeah.
The translated Latin names of all the Carnis. The trimming is Ignovus Carnis, lazy
Ow.
flesh.
The
The meat
lazy
snake
flesh,
is Mutuari Carnis, to borrow flesh.
Mutuari.
The mimic is Trucidatum Carnis, the slaughter of the flesh. The harvester is Congregantur Carnis, the gathering of the flesh. The host is Imperium Carnis, which
Imperium.
can be Empire of the Flesh or Commander of the Flesh. The monoliths are Coelum Carnis, or the Heaven of the Flesh.
What the fuck?
And finally, the singularity is Verum Carnis, or the truth of the flesh. On top
Okay.
of that, I think it is worth noting that in the documentary, the Carnis are listed in order of rarity, from most common at the beginning to least common heading towards the end. Another very easy to miss detail is this island in the Hudson Bay. This island does not exist in the real world at all, and it's also definitely where the monoliths are, and the place where the harvesters were gathering towards in 1990. Despite meat snakes and harvesters being most comfortable in very specific environments, they seem to thrive on this island specifically, despite them not appearing anywhere near the shore off the island. The most important detail in the story is the subtle single-frame images that pop up from time to time, most of which I've neglected to mention until now. And the most crucial of these is the currently 13-page storybook that we've received through these Easter eggs. I'm now going to read you the short story, and keep in mind that because the images are blurry, some words are indecipherable, so some details are going to be missing. Once upon a time, there was a distant kingdom. The kingdom was... The royal family were magical. They traveled land and sea to discover new places and learn what. During the travels on one of their expeditions, a great storm struck. It was so powerful, it swayed the boat the royal family rowed and pushed the prince out and into the sea.
Oh, fuck.
After being stranded at sea, the young prince eventually was cast to an island. Injured, the prince stumbled his way into a nearby cave. The prince used what magic he could to put himself into a healing sleep.
Okay.
But the prince's sleep was long. He slept for what seemed like forever. As he slept, the land around him changed and grew. It was unrecognizable from when the prince had first arrived. But the sleep still needed time to heal the prince, much more time, but it kept the prince safe while he rested, guarding him from the elements as the land changed. Outside the cave, during a time of hardship, lived the island critters. The critters were struggling in this hard time.
Look at those little
There was
guys.
barely any food to go around. They would go and gather what they could.
Sorry, is that a human head on the
Although
left?
one day, the critters found the cave while searching for food. They found the prince in his trance and his healing sleep. The critters were so awestruck and enchanted by the prince's magic. Who is this creature? Why are they here? Are they dangerous? A thought was brought up. What if this creature could use its magic to help them? It may grow food, or heal sickness.
Oh,
They
shit.
continued to argue about the prince and his magic. In the end, the majority of the critters agreed that the prince was dangerous and should not be meddled with, although the other critters ignored the rest of their fellow kind. Instead, they secretly visited the slumbering visitor. They snuck what little food they had and carefully fed it to the prince, greatly hastening their recovery. One day, the prince awoke suddenly. Thanks to the critters' assistance, the healing process had finished very quickly. The prince had fully recovered and was now fully awake and aware of their surroundings. Surprised by the sudden awakening, the critters ducked and hid from the prince's sight. One of the critters built up the courage to meet the now awake stranger. They crawled to the prince's side and extended their hand in friendship.
Okay.
The prince reached back, and together they had formed the bond that will change their fate. The critters led the prince out of the cave, up to the top of the hill the prince had been buried under, and showed them the forest. This is our home, full of wonder and beauty, although the forest struggles to provide for all of us critters and we are facing disaster. Can you help us? The prince stood back, spread his arms, and before him grew a bright light. Mystical shapes and colors, lights and figures. The critters watched with wide eyes. Such sublime brilliance. The prince completed his display. He vowed, with the power he held and the help of his kingdom, he shall heal their home.
Huh.
Now, something you may have noticed instantly is the flag on the prince's raft. Does it seem familiar? Yes,
No.
It's the logo for Netschreier Co., the company that manufactured the flavor enhancer. It's also present here and here. The flavor enhancer obviously has the capability to brainwash. If you remember the massive meat snake from World War II, there was also an image in that entry that showed an officer with the same logo on his uniform, allegedly all the way back in 1945. The event was also referenced in a newspaper clipping from the documentary, which claims that the meat snake only got that large because of cult activity. But wait a minute. This newspaper says it was 40 meters long and that it was in 1947. But the one that we're already familiar with
was
30.4 meters long and in 1945. That means there's two of them.
Oh.
So it
Two
seems
of
like
these
a cult
instances,
represented
okay.
by a red triangle, that the prince also flies as his banner is directly assisting or supporting the Karnas in some way, and they're possibly in positions of power because of this officer and attempting to recruit more to their cause through the flavor enhancer? Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Another detail I'd like to point out to segue
Sorry.
into the rest of my analysis is this seemingly random criminal wanted ad in the second episode, the Cheese Crawl Penne Cook-Along, Vincent Barrar. When I first watched this, I thought it was really strange that Darian would suddenly reveal a fully named human character, especially in the second episode. It had to mean something. This is where the evidence tape of Christian and Janice comes into play. If you remember, while they were out in the woods recording, Christian was talking about a case from 1980 in which a child came back to their trailer home to find their father dead. Due to the quiet nature of the clip, I couldn't actually figure out what the first name of this victim was, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is his last name.
Detail Barrar. His father, and he came home.
Sounds like
found
P-tail.
This implies that the child is most likely Vincent Barrar, who would go on to be a wanted man 10 years later. Remember, as well, that the police did not allow anyone to observe the crime scene and ruled it as a suicide. Another thing I also thought was very strange was how much Christian and Janice completely lacked any sense of danger related to mimics while walking outside at night. They also couldn't immediately assume the 1980 case with Vincent's father was obviously a mimic incident, and neither could any of the public. How is this possible? From here, all the pieces are in place, so allow me to deliver my current hypothetical series timeline.
Okay.
And I'd like to preface that due to the lack of
Yo, chat, who's still here? Sound off.
we've received in the series so far, this timeline is
Since
probably
it's,
completely
late.
wrong. I just want to deliver my interpretation of events thus far. At some point in the distant past, a being of possible extraterrestrial origin that we know as the Prince
Alright, we got
is separated
Mickey.
from his family and finds himself stranded, wounded on an island
I think
that
King
doesn't
Strider
exist
might have
in our
left.
reality. The reason why I believe that it's extraterrestrial, despite the documentary saying this isn't true, is because of the lines, "The royal family were magical, and they traveled land and sea to discover new places." I believe this could be a representation of intergalactic travel. It's also possible that the royal family were just magical humans and they lived on Earth a long time ago.
Maybe.
He puts himself into a deep sleep in order to recover himself, and much time passes and the world changes around him. At some point, the critters would find the prince and nurse him back to health by feeding him despite being low on food themselves. This part is kind of tricky. After a lot of brainstorming, every
They
time
showed
I
up at
tried
around
to assign a
1930.
role to the critters, I found it not making sense somewhere down the line. So for now, due to a lack of information, I'm not going to assign them to any group of humans or representations of nature or anything like that. I'm just going to call...
Well, the thing is, it showed up around, like, early 1930s, which I think was just... Wasn't that, like, just after World War II? When the Great Depression was happening, people were starving? When did the Great Depression happen? Here. Should happen. Let's get that. Great Depression began in the United States on October 24th, 1929. Huh. So it showed up just before World War II and around 1939, right? So my small little thing to add to this is sorry, I gotta respond to my buddy. Excuse me. Okay, so I feel like the critters are represented as people, and they're like they found the dude, and then they bargained for more food because they were like they ran on hard times, aka the Great Depression, and so people weren't eating, people didn't have enough food, and then the prince gave them a method to like basically print food out of nowhere. That's my game theory.
Call them critters. As shown in the monolith photos, this island was highly developed by humans prior to them appearing in 1972. There is a whole ass building here. And clearly the building wasn't built for the sake of research because the first research team that went in was wiped out instantly. I also do not believe that this island is a supernatural construct created by the singularity or whatever.
I don't believe that either.
I've seen other people say this, but I think that there was also a decent-sized population of humans that lived here at some point, and I think it's just an island that doesn't exist in our real world. To me, it seems the storybook is being portrayed from a third-person perspective, but following the prince as a protagonist. I do not think his sense of time is reliable, especially because the story claims his sleep was long and lasted what seemed like forever. The story also claims that the critters were experiencing a famine and that they had to gather for food. Because it specifies that they had to gather food, this is why I believe it is probably unlikely that they're humans, but it could just be an exaggeration for the sake of the storybook aesthetic. I really don't know. It's too vague. Suddenly, in 1931, the prince woke up much earlier than
1931, during the Great Depression. Bam! I don't know. Yeah, no, 1929 or 19... Yeah, like 1930. That would be like a year of people being like, oh, fuck, we're fucked. So, yeah. I feel like the Great Depression thing wouldn't be too far off.
And he was meant to, due to their health. Then they lead the prince to the top of the hill and show him their home. which was in disaster. I believe this disaster may have been the human development on the island, which was deforesting the critters' home. And I believe the forest could also represent nature as a whole, if the critters were to represent maybe animals as a whole, and it really is just kind of like an environmental message that is being portrayed here. I think that's very likely. It's too vague. It's hard for me to tell. I think that this is why the Carnus in general is so beneficial to the ecosystem at large. After the impressive display of magic, the critters ask the prince, "Can you save us?" And in response, he uses his magic to create the Vita Carnus, which is his kingdom. They then appear all over the world seemingly overnight, which is why I believe that they were created through his magic. Its sole purpose, to preserve the forest, the critters' home, with Carnus that benefited the ecosystem in previously unfathomable ways, and to quell the human population, which are those responsible for the threat against them and their home. The newspaper shows that a group of 400 trimmings congregated underneath an abandoned satellite disk, and trimmings are also known to enjoy listening to the radio and TV. I believe this is because the prince has the ability to communicate with his kingdom through his ability, which is part of his magic. With that, I believe that the prince leaving the island is representative of a sort of doomsday scenario that is actually yet to occur. The last line of the storybook says, "The prince gathered what he could and then set sail onward." Once the prince returns home, they, plural as in the prince and his kingdom, at least I'm assuming this is plural and not just referring to the prince's they, despite the male pronoun being used plenty of times to refer to him, will come back to the island and return to the critters. I believe this gathering of resources before the prince leaves is what we see for most of the story. By 1945, during the end of World War II, the Carnus had already established itself as a part of life. In the decade or so since their arrival, a cult had already formed with the goal of worshipping the Carnus. Many of these cult members were even in positions of power, as seen by the World War II officer who wore the same insignia the prince flew on his raft. Using the countless dead bodies left behind in the war, the cult grew a 30-meter meat snake which vanishes without a trace, probably because it simply split off and left, and maybe they retrieved it or brought it somewhere. Then the process was repeated in 1947 with a longer 40-meter meat snake. I believe these are to be fed to the Singularity. This second occurrence makes it into the newspaper, but later the evidence tapes documenting this would be considered illegal to carry. Fast forwarding to 1972, the population of the Carnus explodes, roughly coinciding with the appearance of the monoliths on the island. I believe the monoliths are there to protect the Singularity while he is gathering strength and to prevent humans from interacting with his home. The military attacks on them fail, and the area is then fenced off, never to be touched again. Around this time, a group of researchers attempts to publish their findings on the Vita Carnus.
Documentary was made in the 70s because this graph doesn't go past 1980.
Silenced by the government. A $500,000 fine is assigned to anyone possessing the tape of the presentation they created, and information is being purposefully withheld from the public. At this point, I believe the Vita Carnus and the cult have infiltrated higher government. By 1980, even the local police force was affected. A mimic attack on a father is covered up and made out to be a suicide, and for some reason, because of information being withheld, the public can't even assume that it was probably a mimic. But his son, Vincent Barrar, is still alive, and he knows, at least partially, what really happened. He doesn't understand why his father's death is falsely identified as a suicide, and 3 years later, in 1983, Christopher and Janice fall victim to a mimic attack. I believe their lack of any awareness to be careful for mimics considering their circumstances points towards the public, again, being misled about the nature of the Carnus due to government corruption. They seem to be withholding the information that they can get away with, but other obvious things, such as the existence of the trimmings, the crawl, and the meat snakes, are not hidden, because obviously, how could you? With the mimics, though, it seems like you could get away with chopping it up to suicide, murders, or simple disappearances. That is until 1986, where the mimic cases get so bad and so frequent that the government decides that they can't hide it anymore. However, because the mimic entry in the documentary claims world nations have released instructions on mimic defense, despite that documentary being illegal in at least Canada, it may be evidence that other governments have not managed to be infiltrated by the cult. This part is really confusing, because it honestly just seems like that Darien may have forgotten to make them obviously aware of mimics by walking out at night, and that I'm just thinking way too hard about it, but I think it could be interesting. However, this tape, while mostly true, contains some facts that directly contradict the information that we know from the documentary, such as the use of weapons. In the older documentary, it's said that the weapons are ineffective against the mimics. However, in the defense instructional tape, it says that you are encouraged to use them, which seems entirely detrimental to your safety. At some point around this time, I believe an older Vincent Barrar, still bitter about the cover-up of his father's death and confused, has begun to do some of his own digging. I believe the first thing that he uses for his research was the guide to owning a pet trimming, as it seems like something that would be available publicly, and we can hear notes being taken by hand as the program ends, which contrasts the later entry, which is done on a personal computer.
Yeah.
An inconsistency I noted earlier that I'd like to point out is that the guide claims trimmings live for twice as long as the documentary states, though it's likely because they're just much safer when kept as pets. Years go by, and somehow Vincent manages to get his hands on a handful of illegal tapes. I believe all of the tapes that begin with a federal warning are actually us watching the tapes through his perspective, as he attempts to learn more and more. Eventually, he uncovers the existence of the cult, as we can see in this image. He is trying to figure out who they are.
It might be.
Using the information he learns, he begins writing logs to document his findings. This can be seen in Species Anomaly Report, where he writes Carnus Species Log number 014, and notices the dramatic shift in the harvester population towards the end of 1989. This, paired with the sudden increase in mimic attacks from a few years prior to me, signals the end of the Carnus preparation. Doomsday is about to begin. The government, at some point, catches on to Vincent and becomes a wanted man. In June of 1990, New Trier Co. was founded by the cult, and they manufactured a mind control agent in the form of a flavor enhancer. Considering the similarity in their coloration and that it must be served at a low temperature, otherwise it burns, this is likely reverse engineered from host spores. The cult was actually able to get past this limitation of the Carnus with its meat snake experiment. As I stated earlier, the meat snake that had been fed many bodies created a hardened skin that was immune to extreme temperatures and radiation. As we know, the flavor enhancer works shockingly well against the public. A cooking show airs sometime before the production of the Flavor Enhancer Deluxe, but after June of 1990, when the Flavor Enhancer was made first available, just because I assume it would have been used in this recipe otherwise. And we can see Vincent is now wanted by the Canadian government, but has not yet been caught. Later that year, New Trier Co. releases the Deluxe Flavor Enhancer, and through a series of subliminal messaging and mind control campaigns, seems to have successfully taken over at least a noticeable portion of the population that has had access to the Flavor Enhancer as a product, and they've become dependent on it. I believe that late 1990 may be very close to when everything goes wrong, and December 1990 in the sales projection seems to be the furthest date on our timeline. Oof, damn.
Alright. Well, I didn't mean to go. Be right back. Alright. Well, let me get this up. I'm gonna be in the stream because it's 3 in the morning and I have stuff to do tomorrow. I should be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna be playing or doing, but if you guys want to do more, like horror stuff in the future, just let me know, and because I'm down for it. Honestly, I really enjoy doing this. I think I'll need to find a game to play tomorrow. But we could do something like this again if you guys like more chill stream. That's not it's 1 in the morning here. I have to wake up in 5 hours. Oh, bro. Just go to bed. Why just stay up? But anyways, if you like the stream and you're new here, you can hit me up with a follow. You can join the Discord in the cards below. Let me get a link for that really quickly. Let me get an invite link for that. So if you're new here, you can join it. There is that Discord. If you did like it, I'd appreciate it if you share it with a friend or share it with a family member if you think they'll like my content and they'll actually stick around. But I seriously just need to get a script and just have it like taped to my wall over here so I can like just remember. But let's go for a oh yeah, bro. My girlfriend said she might join it. Well, that's good. Nice. I will be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what time. I will update you guys in the Discord what I'll be playing and everything. But honestly, I might we're probably just gonna play Slime Rancher. Or maybe My Summer Car? I don't know. Well, I shall see you guys in my next stream. Thank you for all your support tonight and those who stuck around this long. You're the fucking best. And I shall let the music play out. Have a great night, guys.